welcome to our channel Let's Learn at Leisure. In this video we are learning about the exponents and powers of class 8, and this is the fourth part. And if you haven't seen the first three parts, it is right there at the top right corner of your screen. So let's move on to fourth part, but before moving to fourth part, let's have a slight recap of last three parts. In part 1 we have learned the meaning of exponents and power, and power is the combination of exponent and base, whereas exponent is not called as power. And we even learned the laws of exponents under multiplication, division, and exponent as zero. And we learned how to convert large numbers, that is usual form, into exponential form, that is standard form. And we have solved some of the questions of exercise 2.1. In part 2 we had a slight recap of last part and learned how to make the bases same if the bases are not a prime number, so that we can use the laws of exponent and solve some of the questions of exercise 2.1. In part 3 we had a slight recap of part 1 and part 2, and we went to the laws which we have to memorize to move the problems faster, and we even solved some of the exercises, and we even solved some of the questions of exercise 2.1 and 2.2. Video we will continue to solve the questions of exercise 2.2. Let's move to the questions of exercise 2.2. Exercise 2.2. In a stack there are 5 books each of thickness 20 meters and 5 paper sheets each for thickness 0.016 millimeter. So now let's find the total thickness of the book. To find the total thickness of the stack, we have to add the total thickness of the book and the total thickness of the sheets. Then we'll get the total thickness of the stack. So let's move on to the total thickness of the books. So let's note down that how many books are there. So number of books is 5, and their thickness is equals to 20 millimeters. So the total thickness of the books will be number of books into thickness. So each book thickness is 20 meter. So the total thickness of the 5 books will be 5 into 20. So the total thickness is equal to 5 into 20. So this will be 100 millimeter. So the total thickness of the stack of books are 100 millimeter. Now let's move to the papers. Now let's note down how many papers are there. So number of papers, and it's 5. Now let's note down the thickness of each paper's thickness is 0.016 millimeter. Same way there are 5 papers, then the total thickness of the papers will be number of papers into thickness of each paper. So this will be 5 into 0.016. So total thickness is equal to 0. Total thickness of paper is equal to 0.016 into 5. So let's calculate it. So now let's write 16 into 5, and 5 6 are it's 30, and 5 ones are 8. Now we have so let's write ET aside. Since we have a decimal point, let's assume a decimal point at the end of the number. So there are 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 places which have decimal point. So let's move this decimal points towards the left side. So this will be 1, 2, and 3.0. So the total thickness of papers are 0.08 millimeters. So then the total thickness of the books are 100 millimeters, and the total thickness of papers are 0.08 millimeters. So the total thickness total thickness of the stack is equal to the total thickness of the books plus the total thickness of the papers. So the total thickness of the books is 100 mm plus the total thickness of the papers, that is 0.08 millimeters. So 100 millimeters plus 0.08 millimeters is equals to 100.08 millimeter. Now let's move to the next slide. In this video, we will derive two new laws, and those laws are x raised to the power of 0 and 1 by x raised to the power of n. Right? Why is x raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1? In the last three parts, we have been learned that x raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1, and that what the law of exponents says. But why is x raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1? Let's find out. So this x raised to the power of 0 can be written as x raised to the power of n divided by x raised to the power of n. So this is equals to x raised to the power of n minus n. So any number subtracted by itself is 0. So this will be x raised to the power of 0. Now x raised to the power of n divided by x raised to the power of n is also equal to 1, because any number divided by itself is equal to 1. Like 2 raised to the power of 2 divided by 2 raised to the power of 2. So this is equal to 4 divided by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. So any number divided by itself is equal to 1. So x raised to the power of n divided by x raised to the power of n is equal to 1, and x raised to the power of n divided by x raised to the power of n is even equal to x raised to the power of 0. So x raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1, because x by n divided by x by n is equal to x raised to the power of 0, and x by n divided by x by n is equal to 1. So x raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So now let's move to the second law. Raised to the power of minus n is equal to 1 by x raised to the power of n. In the last three parts, we have even learning this law as x raised to the power of minus n is equal to 1 by x raised to the power of n. But why is x raised to the power of minus n is equal to 1 by x raised to the power of n? So for this, let's have a pattern like 2 raised to the power of 3 is equal to 8, and 2 raised to the power of 2 is equal to 4, 2 raised to the power of 1 is equal to 2, 2 raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So here there is a decrease of exponent by 1 unit, but in the result there is the result is divided by 2. Here you can see 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 2 raised to the power of 3 is equal to 8, and 2 raised to the power of 2 is equal to 4, 2 raised to the power of 1 is equal to 2, and 2 raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. These all are correct. And with there is a relationship in the power that the exponent is decreasing by 1 unit, but in the result it is dividing by 2. So same way, 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now let's subtract this 0 by 1. So this will be 2 raised to the power of minus 1. Now we don't know the value of 2 raised to the power of minus 1. So let's take the same pattern, since 2 is divided by 2 and we get the 1. So let's divide 1 divided by 2. So 1 divided by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. So 2 raised to the power of minus 1 is 1 by 2. Now let's again subtract this exponent. So minus 1 is equal to 2 raised to the power of minus 2. Then this is equal to 1 by 2 divided by 2. So 1 by 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, and this is equal to 1 by 4, and 1 by 4 is equal to 1 by 2 raised to the power of 2. So the value of 2 raised to the power of minus 2 will be 1 by 2 raised to the power of 2. Now let's take now this time let's take base as 3. 3 raised to the power of 3, 3 raised to the power of 2, 3 raised to the power of 1, 3 raised to the power of 0. So 3 raised to the power of 3 is 81, 3 raised to the power of 2 is 9, and 3 raised to the power of 1 is 3, and 3 raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Here there is a decrease by 1 unit in the exponent. Now 81 divided by 3 is 9, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So now let's subtract the 0, then this will be 3 raised to the power of minus 1. So this is equal to 1 divided by 3, and this is 1 divided by 3 is 1 by 3, and 3 raised to the power of minus 2. Minus 1 is minus 2, and 1 by 3 divided by 3. So 1 by 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1 by 3 into 1 by 3. So that is equal to 1 by 9, and 1 by 9 is equal to 1 by 3 raised to the power of 2. So the value of 3 raised to the power of minus 2 is equal to 1 by 3 raised to the power of 2. Same way 3 raised to the power of minus 3 is equal to 1 by 3 raised to the power of 2 divided by 3, that is equal to 1 by 81, and 1 by 81 is 1 by 3 raised to the power of 3. So now we have ended the chapter of exponents and power, but before ending this video, let's move to a riddle. Now a man calls his dog from the opposite side of the river. The dog crosses the river without getting wet and without using a bridge or a boat. How? The dog finally crosses the river, but the dog did not get wet and it did not use any transportation vehicle like boat or any use of bridge, and it did not even get wet. Then how it crossed the river? So now let's see the answer. The answer will be revealed in the next video, but please comment the answer below in the comment box. So thank you for watching this video. Meet you in the next session. Till then, keep watching and bye.